Hello, my name is Hornby Rogerson and I'm going to answer a question today that many people may be asking. In fact, if you're not asking, it's because you're jolly well not interested. The Rover K Series engine. It's a high revving zippy lizzle engine that manages to put out more power than you'd expect for a 1.4 engine. Sometimes it does anyway. The 1.4 twin cam engine has 84 brake horsepower, and that doesn't sound like a huge amount. In fact, it's probably average for its time. But Rover did this other thing where they put a slightly bigger throttle body on it and gave you another 20 brake horsepower. And when I say 20 brake horsepower, I mean 19. Some of the cars came out of the factory with the standard 84 brake horse, and others came with 103 from exactly the same engine, except for that throttle body. 84 brake horsepower, 103 brake horsepower. Or 84 brake horsepower fitted with an uprated throttle body to make it 103. And there's the thing, changing the throttle body, if you've got some clue of what you're doing, is a 10-minute job for an extra 19 brake horsepower. In a car that weighs less than a ton, does it make a huge difference? Or is it just a waste of time? What's that? You might think this is just some daft idea that's unnecessary, and we all know the answer. 20 brake horsepower is going to make a huge difference, isn't it? Well, I'm in the 84 brake horsepower car here, and that picks up quite well. I can't remember my car feeling any quicker. But then I haven't compared them back to back like I'm about to do now. By the way, both cars have healthy engines that don't lose coolant or oil, had the heads done recently, had all the belts changed and everything like that. This one though, the 84 brake horsepower version, has got less than half the mileage, which does put it at a slight advantage. This car with its 84 brake horsepower, I feel pulls really well. Low down torque is good, and then you rev it and it carries on revving, and it actually feels a bit like I'm going to get back in my own car and not be able to tell the difference. That's a bit of a concern. The difference is though, go to 4,000 RPM and it's not really picking up that much more. It kind of picks up like any other sort of hatch of this size really. But once you get to that revvy part of the engine, it still revs, but it doesn't feel like it's suddenly going to go mental at you. And so you stop, which is why it kind of works quite well for just normal round town driving. Obviously it's still got more power at the top end, but as you get to sort of 4,000 RPM, you don't get this increase in power, but you do get a drop in torque. So it starts to feel a bit pointless to carry on going, and instead you just change gear. It's time to try the same trick on the car with the better throttle body. In fact, this one has the 52mm throttle body, which is supposed to increase the horsepower by even more. But I'm not sure it does that much really. That's what it's supposed to do. Traffic's heavy, but that's fine, because you shouldn't really do this without warming the engine up first. I have definitely mentioned that before. So the first thing to tell, the first difference, the difference between this one and the other one, is that the torque feels about the same, but it feels ever so slightly more bitey and edgy and responsive, and that's low revs as well. I haven't even gone up to 3,000 RPM yet. Already you can feel the difference. Having given this car proper good warm-up of the engine, I can now see if it's any quicker for having that different throttle body. Much more edgy feeling, much more raspy, much more eager, much more naughty feeling. Go! Now the other car didn't do that. Nothing like, in fact. For normal use, just pottering around, it makes no difference. In actual fact, it might even be a bit more peaky. But once you actually really go for it and put your foot down, then this thing, it is a lot quicker. So there we go, there's the answer. The upgraded throttle body makes quite a big difference. Scientific proof, just there. You saw it with your own ears. You heard it with your own eyes. You smelt it with your own elbow. Thank you. Cheesecake, anybody? What's weird actually is that I'm used to driving this car all the time and driving the other one yesterday, and just quickly got to think that there really isn't any difference. There's loads of difference. There really is. There's loads.